Bill Zazer has been farming in this sun-baked valley since 1981, and one thing that has never dried up here is hope.
It's kind of like fishing. If you don't have any optimism, you haven't got anything, and I keep being optimistic.
Zazer's Rancho del Sol is a productive 40-plus acres. The certified organic farm produces a variety of produce and citrus fruit. And this small farm sits in the bottom of a dusty valley in Jamul, and these plants still need a lot of water. Zazer says he's always managed to find enough water in the ground to feed his thirsty crops, and he counts himself lucky.
Yeah, several neighbors are trucking water. They don't have any other option. They have to pay a truck to bring them a couple of thousand gallons of water each time.
Zazer has been able to tap into groundwater over the years, but he's finding out that there are limits to that supply. He has 11 wells scattered around his property. Only 2 still draw water, and he's facing issues with them.
What can you say? You just have to go deeper. That's what we've done on that well we were just at. We just deepened that well from 872. We were going to go 100 feet. We didn't even get there. At 9 1/4, we found quite a bit more water. Whereas the other one that was 1,100 feet deep got nothing. So it's just where you find it,
Zazer spent $25,000 drilling that dry hole into the fractured rock. That money could have paid for a lot of trucked water. Tim Geisert makes a living drilling and maintaining wells in the backcountry.
Anytime you drill a well, it's a hard choice. There is no guarantee when you drill a well that you're going to hit water. I've often said it's kind of well drilling is the only form of legalized gambling off the Indian reservations in the state of California.
Geisert was on the farm to fix a newly deepened well. The water monitor is busted. Knowing the exact water level allows a farmer like Zazer to figure out just how much he can draw out of the ground to feed his crops.
This is called a well sounder, and this is what we use for measuring water levels in the well. When this gets down and hits the water, it does that and tells us that we've actually hit the water level.
But with Zazer and his neighbors drawing down the groundwater in this valley, there is a race on for deeper wells. Geisert says that water won't be easily replaced.
The water that we're drawing out of this well probably is 800-900 years old. And so a rainfall tomorrow isn't going to do anything to help that situation.
We're slowly getting a little less water. People are drilling deeper wells. They're wondering why their wells don't recover as much as they used to. And that's all fairly predictable by us using more water than is recharged.
Wes Danskin is a hydrologist with the U.S. Geological Survey's Water Science Center. Danskin says the East County's geology is much like the Sierra Mountains. The region doesn't get any of the imported water from Northern California or the Colorado River. The fractured rock relies on rainwater to percolate through the ground to recharge underground fissures.
Typically our wells were maybe 600 feet deep, 800 feet deep. Now they're more typically 1,200, 1,400, and the cost is very nonlinear. It doubles, it quadruples with each additional distance. So there is water further down, but commonly it's not as fresh. It's saltier. It's been in the ground longer.
Danskin says groundwater isn't regulated in the East County. Once a well is permitted and drilled, there are no restrictions on how much water can be taken. That leaves Bill Zazer focused on the near term.
We're doing okay. This last year was rough because we've been looking for more water and drilling more wells, and yeah.
State officials are looking at regulating groundwater supplies under some of the state's rich agricultural valleys. Those sand and gravel aquifers are easy to monitor and manage. Doing that in more mountainous, fractured rock areas is technically much more difficult, but shrinking water supplies might force officials to consider it. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.